Big thank you to DZOfilm for loaning me the lenses that I'll be reviewing in this video. Today we're going to be looking over the 16, 21, and 40mm Vespid Primes from DZOfilm. I chose these lenses specifically because I like odd focal lengths, especially on Super 35 sensors. Now, DZO does have a wide range, 10 lenses in a set, which is pretty incredible. I have also rented out the 70mm and 90. Now, over the past couple of months while using these lenses on different types of environments, sets, and situations, it is clear to me that DZOfilm really put the cinematographer first. Now, going forward, I will be referring to all three lenses when I'm talking about the character, because all of them look the same, which is good. Sharpness, contrast, color rendition, flare, blooming, all of that have similar qualities throughout all the lenses, which is great. Now, the real difference I guess you want to point out is that the 16mm is a t2.8 and the others being a t2.1, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Now, the look of a particular lens set can be difficult to explain because it is subjective to a certain extent. Now, however, these lenses lean a bit more on the softer side, not the smeary kind of soft, not like Rokinons or other quote-unquote budget cine lenses. No, this is a silky quality, how it renders sharpness and clarity, especially with skin detail wide open at t2.1. Contrast plays a role as well when perceiving sharpness in an image. With that contrast, colors are fairly neutral and to my eye a little slightly muted in my opinion, which can be a good thing if you like to add more punch in the grade. Now, the flares can have this misty, veiling quality, which is quite beautiful, but at times it can be a bit too much in my opinion. Now, it doesn't take much light for the lenses to flare up the image, and it definitely does lower the contrast as most flares do. Sometimes you'll get this green and purple orb that kind of shows up in the middle of the frame, and it can get distracting, especially if it lands on someone's face. Overall, these characteristics, the color, sharpness, flaring, and contrast, I will kind of put this sort of in the more of the vintage side of what these lenses can do and that quality that we all kind of like. Now, when it comes to the more modern side of this lens, it's definitely sitting in the bokeh and surprisingly the image circle. Let me explain. The Vespids have a 16 bladed aperture, so you'll get perfectly round bokeh in the background. This is what you typically find in more high-end cine lenses that are more modern. Now, personally, I like my bokeh to have some shape, some swirl, some just weird stuff happening in the background. But for a do-it-all lens, the bokeh could cause some clients to be distracted. So this is a nice way to kind of appease that kind of look, I guess you can say, to have a more balanced lens. Now, the image circle is something you would normally associate with characteristics. For me, I kind of do. Reason being is that this is a VistaVision lens that has a 46.5mm image circle, which means it can cover a wide range of sensors, which is actually a fantastic feature because now you don't have to deal with vignetting when you put it on a Super 35 sensor, a full frame sensor, all the way up into a large format like an Arri Alexa LF. It will cover each of those lenses fine without any light loss on the edges. T-stops will always give you the exact transmission of light coming out of the lens for exposing a scene. So there is no adjustments needed when changing out lenses that have the same T-stop. The build quality is very, very pleasing. They are all, again, the same height. They all have the same, all the gearing is the same position across the board, so you don't have to worry about switching or repositioning your follow focus or anything like that when mounting onto the camera. The lenses are fairly compact, and they do have some heft. Each lens provides a very smooth 270-degree focus throw with accurate markings and zero breathing. That's huge. This is a big selling point for me. especially for the last 2 commercials I filmed where I had to pull focus while Caleb was manning the slider. Now obviously this is not a make or break thing, but it's the little quality of life things that I like about this lens. The distance markings on the lens also have feet and meters. So on the camera right side of it, you'll see that it will measure in feet, and on the left side of it, you'll see that it's measured in meters. Another unique thing about the Vespid Primes is that you have the ability to change out the mount. In this kit, they shipped as PL, and I was able to switch it out pretty easy to EF. I did have to do some research, but you can go to their website, and they do send the proper tools and directions to show you how to shim them. And shimming is basically these very thin paper-like metal sheets. Shimming helps correct the flange distance between the lens and the sensor of the camera so you can get proper markings, especially hitting infinity. Now it can be a little scary, but like I said, they have the directions on the website, but you can watch the video in the description below from CVP. They do a whole breakdown of how to shim lenses. And if you're still not confident, just find somebody who knows how to do it for you. But if anything, I would say learn, because it's a good skill to know. And a couple of tools you might actually need. One, you might need a measuring tape. I got myself a laser focus from Home Depot just because I can just put it right against the witness marking of the camera where the focus plane is, so I can get an accurate reading of how far I need to measure when reshimming these lenses. Now the real difference I guess you want to point out is that the 16mm is a T2.8 and the others being a T2.1. But we'll get to that a little bit later. Now you might say to yourself, well, the 16mm is a T2.8 versus the other ones being T2.1. Is there any light loss with that? Now, I don't have any scientific information about this, but what I've observed while using the lenses is that no, there is no light loss when dealing with the exposure at a T2.8. Look at this front element. It is huge. It is bulbous. So it's gathering so much more light that is essentially getting the same exposure, exposing that T2.1 as it is at T2.8. That's my theory. And if I am wrong, please correct me in the comments. That's just what I'm guessing. Now, I've been giving a lot of praise about these lenses, but there are a few annoyances that I will love to share right now. Now, I was surprised to see that the outer diameter of the lenses are only 80mm. Reason why that's something I point out is that I use 85 or 90 front diameter lenses so I can put my clamp-on matte boxes on. Along with that, it being a 77 filter thread, which I never carry a 77 filter thread of any sort. So the bougie side of me wants to get the 80mm clamp-on attachment from Wooden Camera, and that is not cheap. And the other side, I can just go the cheaper route and get an 80 to 85 step-up ring, but that just kind of just ruins the aesthetic. See my problem? I'm just too bougie for the fact. Alright, so that just wraps it up for this video. And look, I'm not trying to sell you on these lenses. These are great lenses for what I've been looking for a while now, and I'm very happy that I was able to use them for extended time to see what they really can do on various projects. And I can say that I'm very happy with them, and I'm definitely going to be adding these to my kit for future projects and whatnot. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and yeah, catch you on the next one.